Hi everyone, it's Gina. I'm going to go ahead and do our week 3 video response on physical education assessment. Research a self-made assessment and identify one that you can implement into your class or sport. So I actually am very familiar with PE Central, especially towards the beginning of my teaching career. I would always reference it to find new activities for my students, especially when I was teaching elementary. And when it got to teaching frisbee, I was noticing kids were having a hard time understanding the concept of throwing an object with their dominant hand and stepping with their dominant foot. So if they're right handed, they step with their right foot. If they're left handed, they step with their left foot while throwing the object with the same side arm. And I feel that it was difficult because a lot of the students were used to playing baseball where they're throwing the object with their dominant hand and stepping with the opposite foot. And same thing with football. So, one of the assessments I found was a frisbee, pretty much throwing rubric on PE Central. It's pretty much very basic. It's you write down their name and then you grade them off of different levels, or you place them in different levels. When I was reading the actual levels that this particular person did when submitting their rubric, I was kind of reading, the different levels that they had. And maybe I'm just, the way that I'm perceiving it or interpreting it is a little off with me. So I might change the wording maybe, or just have keywords in the level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4. So level 1, they state student is facing sideways, arm is extended across most of the body, does not step with the dominant foot, and releases frisbee at the angle with no wrist flick. Now, it's kind of weird because at the same time, I'm not sure also what throw they're grading on. If it's the side, or I'm sorry, if it's the backhand throw, if it's the sidearm throw. Because when it says student is facing sideways, well, with the backhand throw, you want them to face sideways. You want them to have their shoulder of their dominant hand facing their target. So again, I'm not really sure as far as what throw they're working on. So for level 1, it would just be the correct stance. Are they in the correct stance? But they're not stepping, they're not having their arm across their body. And, basic. Level 2, they put student is facing forward, arm is extended across most of the body, does not step with the dominant foot, and releases frisbee with an angle with no wrist flick. Again, this one says student is facing forward. You're facing forward when you're doing the sidearm throw. I guess you can say which. I know even with my 6th, 7th, and 8th graders, they were having a really hard time trying to execute the sidearm throw. So I told my kids to focus on the backhand throw. So again, with the levels that they have stated on the sheet, I would definitely change the wording on what each level is, and then not necessarily have so many, I guess you'd say, cues on there on what you're looking for. I would probably pick like 3 cues and kind of maybe not have so many levels. Kind of maybe do level 1, level 2, and level 3, where level 3 is, not necessarily mastering it. However, they it's like little tweaks here and there. Includes something that explains why you chose a specific assessment to share with the class and how you use it in your students and athletes. I am really big on visual assessments, just because it's physical education. You're out there. Kids are active. I'm not so much of a pencil assessment teacher when it comes to physical education, because in my undergrad work, we focus so much on the amount of time that we spend on instruction, on management, and on activity. So if I can have my students be physically active and still be able to assess and still be able to work with them, I feel like that benefits both of us, as far as keeping their physical activity high and also being able to correct if I need to correct the student on what's being assessed. So again, like I said, I'm very familiar with PE Central, and I do use it still to this day for reference. I don't necessarily use it to think of newer ideas, just because I feel that a lot of the new lesson plans that are coming out on it, unfortunately, you need a lot of equipment. And with PE classes that are, in the high 30s, low 40s, we don't have enough equipment to give for each student to have. So I can't wait to hear some of your assessments that you guys found that maybe I can reference in future lessons and units that I will do with my students. I hope everyone has a great week 3, and I look forward to hearing from you guys. Bye.